If you are a spiritual seeker that is looking to truly know themselves and really find deep meaning, purpose, fulfillment, really looking to understand your connected nature with the universe, then what I'm about to teach you will help you enormously. But if you are just a new age guy or gal that thinks about spirituality in terms of the next hug session, the next cacao ceremony, look away. This isn't for you, because this is the real stuff. Now, we've been taught to think about spiritual development from a materialistic perspective in terms of getting somewhere, evolving through our trauma, dealing with our past, and then sometime in the future, we can achieve some level of peace or some level of self-realization. But that's just an endless hamster wheel. So if you've been stuck on the hamster wheel of becoming in the materialistic perspective, in terms of getting somewhere in your job or in a relationship, in wealth-wise or personality-wise, all of those material things, and you come to the spiritual world and learn a similar way of thinking, then really all you're doing is putting some incense or some crystals in the same hamster cage, and you're really just going to embark on the same endless hamster wheel of becoming, simply this time through a spiritual lens. But actually, it's way more useful to think about spiritual development in terms of an undoing. So what I discovered after 25, 30 years of working with my teachers was a very simple, stark truth that you are and were already whole, already connected with God, already connected deeply with the planet, and nothing really ever happened to your authentic being, your authentic self. That has always remained whole and uncorrupted. And it's simply the programming, conditioning, the hypnosis of the many, many years that we've spent inside this matrix of fear, lack, and disconnectedness, and a way to start this great undoing, this great deconstruction, so that you can get back to your pure self, your authentic connection, is through self-observance. So what you want to do is take a portion of your awareness, like a CCTV camera, and you stick it here. And you start to look at yourself. So you start to observe your patterns, your reactions, your habits, your opinions, all the nice things you do, all the manipulative things that you do, all the ways that you pretend, all the ways that you try and influence other people, people that you love. But you look at this without any judgment. This is important, right? Because so many of us are trying to get somewhere. We're doing affirmations, we're following on vision boards, we're trying to be the best that we can be. So we're always on top of ourselves. Whenever we notice something, we say, oh, I'm dealing with it. I got this. I'll be back. Give me a moment. But it's really, really important to give yourself space to observe yourself, because we have been subjected to so much criticism, so much influence. So many people have been telling us for years that something is wrong with us, something is wrong with the world. And it's really important to give yourself an enormous amount of space. So you have to find a balance between critical self-observation, where you objectively look at yourself and see all the things that you do, and then notice, oh gosh, why did I do that? Oh my gosh, I said something that wasn't true. Oh, what I just did was quite manipulative. Or now I was just trying to get my standard opinions verified by somebody else. If you can do that, if you can observe this within a space where you're not trying to change anything, then something very, very interesting happens. Because you start to sort of sink down. Automatically, you'll start to slowly get to the root of an awful lot of your motivations. And what you're going to find there is all kinds of assumptive behavior, all kinds of motivations which are predicated on ideas which are just false and wrong. but you're never going to find out what they are if you're trying to change it at this higher level, at this more superficial level. So observe yourself over days, over weeks, over months, in all kinds of situations. And if you notice yourself behaving badly, which we all do, we're all beings with shadow, right? There's no blame here. There's no shame here. We want to actually look, because then you'll start to see, oh gosh, I thought I had to manipulate this person because if I didn't, they would withhold their love from me, or they wouldn't give me affirmations, or I need to uphold this victim story about myself, because if I don't, then how am I going to get money or this influence, or how am I going to get energy from this situation? But if you can do this for a sustained period of time without balking, right? Without saying, oh, I don't want to see, without blaming yourself, without shaming yourself, without trying to change anything, simply observe, observe, observe. Something incredible happens. You get to a place where you naturally arrive at a very deep level of self-acceptance. And it makes sense, doesn't it? Because if you're not trying to change anything and you're not judging yourself, then of course where you end up is self-acceptance. But can you see how if you would do this, this would be the only way to arrive at real self-acceptance? Because everything else, coming at surface level, doing affirmations or doing whatever it is that you might try to do, that some wonderful millionaire influencer has told you worked for him or her, if you're trying to apply all this to the level of the personality, to the level of the ego, it's all pretense. All of it is pretense, because you're working on the idea that something can change the personality. But this level of undoing is very powerful. Now, it's very difficult. So what are the challenges that you're going to get here? Well, you're going to see the shadow parts of yourself. You're going to see the icky, nasty stuff that we all do, me included. We all do this. Planet Earth is a messy place. We all fuck up. We've all created karma. We've all done things that are shameful. But please withhold the shame, withhold the blame through this whole process. Now, to give you an example of how difficult it was, I had to see the way that I was aggressive towards my sons, that I was manipulative. And it was really painful to see that, a grown man was being forceful and aggressive with his children. And my partner at the time pointed it out to me. So I thought, okay, let me just look at this. And then I just saw all this automatic behavior. And I realized, oh my goodness, I'm just channeling my mother. I'm saying and I'm reacting in the way that she did. And then I realized that it was just learned behavior. But because I gave myself the space to look at it, I just realized where it came from. And it was immediately apparent to me that it didn't work, that it was unhelpful, and it wasn't me. And I didn't have to try and change it because I saw it. I was prepared to look at it fully. I could see it. And then the crazy thing was, it just left. I didn't even have to try and change anything. It's very strange. So I've been practicing this. You can call it a technique. It simply starts with an intent. It starts with a very strong intent to know yourself, to say, okay, I'm interested in how I tick. I'm interested in the mechanics of all of my automatic behaviors and all of my programming. And it's not always easy, because some of our programming is deceptive, right? And a lot of it is self-deceptive. So we pretend to be confused. We pretend not to understand. Oh, I didn't get that email that you sent me. I think it must have gone to spam or something like that. We have all of these techniques that we try and manipulate other people, or that we try and avoid responsibility, that we try and be victims. So it is a challenge to stay with this objective view. But if you want it enough, it's possible. And it doesn't need anything other than a clear and powerful and lasting intent. So I've been practicing this for the last maybe 15 or so years. And what it's brought me is immense clarity, because it's allowed me to peel away all of these layers of external conditioning, internal conditioning, all these ideas I had about myself, that I wasn't particularly good, I wasn't particularly intelligent, I wasn't able to do that much. I wasn't lovable. All of the things that we all have to deal with. But as I looked with real objectivity, these layers started to remove themselves. So I didn't really have to do anything. So the challenging part is you have to feel, you're aware of the pain that you've caused to others. You're aware of the karma that you've caused. So yeah, you might have to try and fix some situations. You might have to apologize, but that's part of life. There's no way around these things. These are real. But if you stick with this, I guarantee that you can undo all of these layers, all of this karmic conditioning, all of this programming. You come to an incredibly deep level of self-acceptance. And what you find there is the miracle of your always already whole self. This is your authentic being. This is the part of you that was never hurt or traumatized in any way. Yes, a lot of stuff happened to the personality, and we do need to lovingly be aware of that, not identify with it endlessly, right? Yes, stuff happened to the personality, but your deeper self, your authentic self, was never hurt. So that beautiful innocent being that you were born as a child is still there, still available. And we get back to it through the deconstruction, through the undoing. And this is how you undo. And this may sound very simple. Can't be that simple, Justin. Yes, it is. Why isn't everybody doing it? Well, because in our materialistic world, in our Western mind, we live in this illusion of time. And we've been taught, we believe that in the future, we can be free. We just need to change some stuff, change some people, move some things around. We have to exit this complicated escape room. And in the future, we can find joy, peace, and happiness. So we've been programmed with this idea of the future, but actually we want to be free. We've got to go in the opposite direction. So we've got to return to that part of ourselves that was always whole. So it's just that the idea of becoming is so strong, even in the spiritual community, right? The idea of becoming is so strong that we have this enormous momentum built up. We also, so you could look at it in terms of the sunken cost fallacy, which we say, well, I put so much effort in moving in this direction, I can't possibly change that now, because if I did, it would mean that that was all wasted time, energy, and effort. Well, what I can tell you is, the only thing I can say is that freedom is coming home. Freedom is coming home. And it really is as simple as that. Coming back to your true self. Giving up the shame and the blame. And yes, seeing that you make mistakes and that you did hurt other people, but we all did. So, so what? Repair what you can, and that which can't be repaired, then there's not much you can do about it. So give yourself space. Guilt is only a placeholder emotion, right? Guilt is only something that we do if we aren't prepared to deal with the reality of ourselves. So guilt is completely unhelpful. So don't get lost or stuck in guilt or shame. Move past it, and you will return to your pristine self. This is available for anybody and everybody. Now, this is an immensely powerful practice because it brings you back to your true, innocent state. This is your enlightened nature. What you find here is true self-confidence, because what you find is that you were always good, were always whole, and that your most fundamental nature is connected fully with the universe. They're one and the same thing. You're connected fully with God, with spirit. You are one and the same thing. It's simply that we were taught to create this false sense of self, this ego self, this personal history, these likes and dislikes, and then everybody's doing it, right? Everybody's creating this false self, this false being. And as you're creating it, as you're putting life force energy into the constant creation of this false being, it feels real. Everybody's doing it, and everybody's interacting with everybody at this level. So it's not surprising that everybody's caught in this trap. So the way out is the undoing. And then you come back to your free nature. It really is as simple as that. So tell me if this resonates with you. I'd love to hear from you. I will answer any questions or comments that people leave below. And if you want to work with me and be part of the community that I'm building for conscious individuals that want real change, real transformation, check out the link below and sign up to be notified when we launch, and I'll keep you posted.